All right, Ken, we've got championship stuff to talk about, but I got to ask about the hat first. What's going on with the Indiana Hoosiers?
I'm what we call a bandwagon jumper, Chris. I'm a, I consider myself a part-time Hoosier since we're up there a few times a year for upwards of a week or two. So, why not? Why not join in? I'll tell you why not, because it's tacky to jump on the bandwagon. Now that the first college football playoff rankings have come out, and the Hoosiers, I think, are number 2. I mean, that would be tacky to jump on the bandwagon, so I would get off of that right now and go with the number 10 team in the initial college football power rankings or playoff rankings. So that feels a little more comfortable anyway, by the way. This one you can tell is broken in. This one doesn't get worn a lot. I got to, my neighbor gave me this, who lives next to me in New Smyrna. My neighbor gave it to me. He's a true blue Hoosier. And if I'm going to walk the dog and I'm going by his house, I wear this in case I run into him. So it does get worn, but just not all the times.
Neither of those are today's show and tell, correct?
No, they're not.
All right. We'll save that for later in the show.
I'm turning my volume up. I want to hear everything you say.
All right, you mentioned bandwagoners. There were a lot of people who, before this championship finale in the Cup Series, kind of hopped on the Denny Hamlin bandwagon. Like, it felt like he had more fans rooting for him Sunday than maybe ever.
Yes.
I'll clear the floor for just your reaction on his heartbreak. What are you thinking about? What do you think about Denny?
About as tough a one as I've seen. I've been watching it for a long time, and I've seen guys. I was there when Dale Earnhardt was going to win the Daytona 500 in 1990 when he blew a tire in the third turn of the last lap. He was running away with it, and Derek Cope inherited that win. That was not good. That was a sad day. Earnhardt was just basically numb, looked very numb in the garage area and sitting inside his car, much like Denny did Sunday. But that's the closest thing I can think of in terms of a parallel. It was not good because Denny, because he's talked openly about his father's predicament with his health, and it's not good. And so he, the sentimentality of that played in, and it became a different narrative with Denny over the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. So just when everybody's saying kind of pulling for him in a way, and then at the very end, he's running away with the race, and he's going to be the 2025 champion finally after 20 years of trying. And then you look up and there's a car going in the wall and the yellow's coming out, and you go, of course. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't seem. So anyway, it was too bad for him. And what was your next question? Did you have a question in there?
No. I mean, you mentioned just the day he was having 3 seconds in front with 3 laps to go. He leads a race high 208 laps, which is not only race high, but it's the most ever in a championship finale. The next closest guy was William Byron, who blew that tire in the final 3 laps, with 52 laps led.
I mean, but let's go to the guy who damn near put half a straightaway between him and the runner-up. He was just pulling away. Yeah.
Let's talk about the guy who did not lead a single lap, though, and that would be your 2025 champion, Kyle Larson. What do you make of Kyle Larson getting another championship, number 2 for him?
Several things. First of all, I'm really shocked. This is the 12th year of this format where you had a winner-take-all among the 4 finalists in the final race. Whoever finishes highest is the champion. I'm shocked that something like this hadn't happened before. As was well documented, of the first 11 years, 10 of those 11 years before this year, the champion also won the final race. It was almost as if all the other cars just got out of the way and said, you 4 guys battle it out. So all but once, one of the final 4 drivers won that last race to win the championship. And the one year he didn't was a couple of years ago. Ryan Blaney finished second. So it was weird. It just seems odd that this hadn't happened several times. And the fact that it didn't is what I think left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, because we've gotten used to the champion winning the race, and Denny Hamlin was going to win the race. Instead, you get a guy that finishes third, Kyle Larson, didn't lead a lap all day, hadn't won a race since early May. He did have a pretty steady year though, except for a handful of clankers, and he kind of disappeared a little bit late summer, early fall, but he finished pretty good, a bunch of top five runner-up finishes and a third place. And again, if you did away with the 10 race playoffs and you kept counting points all season long as you did during the regular season to get to the playoffs, if you add up all them points, Kyle Larson actually led the league in points. So he did have more points than anybody, which is at least some consolation to people who hate what happened. But at the same time, that's not how they were racing in the playoffs. If you were strictly points racing, there would have been a few tweaks here and there to strategies and pre-race strategies and race day strategies among the teams if they knew they were having a points race and not necessarily try to, win the race or whatever their needs were at the time. So, but anyway, Kyle Larson had more points than anybody all year, and he has the one trophy that they handed out for the championship. And word on the street is he's not going to give it back. And by the way, speaking of front runners and bandwagons, I mean, what bigger bandwagon than the Christmas bandwagon? I just realized you didn't see anything about my Splendor here.
Yeah, I lost that underneath the hat, but that's a great shirt.
It is.
Was that a show and tell, or you just worn that? No, that you just wore that earlier this year.
No, it's never been a show and tell. My thinking is I wore it once before just to show it off because I got a deal. I know a guy, and I'm wearing it this time because I figured, we may not be on again, might not do another podcast between now and Christmas, and here we go. And plus, the Christmas lights are going up in town on the main drag. Christmas stuff is going up in the stores, so why not? I feel like I'm probably late to the party, as a matter of fact, but here I am.
Well, you want to smile at the camera and do a quick Christmas card from Daytona Motor Mouths? Have people.
I'm gonna change hats again.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
This
second
is
half of the pod.
A new hat somebody got me, and I'm going from the bandwagon to something other than the bandwagon. You read that one?
Prince is not dead.
There you go. Yeah. I said, well, not dead yet.
All right.
We're hanging in there.
I don't need you to tell me how many hats you have sitting on that table, but do you have more?
I'm out.
Okay.
Yep.
By the way, just a quick note, because we haven't mentioned his name, so we might as well. Ryan Blaney actually won that race on Sunday. Yeah, he did. So I guess a little consolation prize for Blaney going into the offseason. Brad Keselowski somehow didn't win that race, finishing second. It looked like he was going to pull away with it going into those final two turns.
I want you to go back. I want you to go back and watch a replay of the last two laps, the 2-lap overtime. Keselowski was going to win that race.
What are we doing?
He comes off turn 4, and it's like he threw a chute. It's like a parachute popped out. I don't know what happened. It's almost like he hit the brakes or something. It was, I'm guessing he just lost the grip or something coming off 4 real low. But my goodness, it's almost like he just all of a sudden hit a headwind, and Blaney went by him, as the old Detroit Tigers broadcaster, Ernie, dang it, forgetting the name, as he
Harwell?
used to say. I'm sorry?
Harwell?
Ernie Harwell used to say he stood there like the house beside the road. That's Ryan Blaney taking off past him. And yeah, that was worth rewatching. That's your assignment.
Denny finished 6th after Larson's 3rd. Chase Briscoe and William Byron, your other two championship 4 drivers, were 18th and 33rd, respectively. So not exactly a banner day for those guys.
I don't think Briscoe's ever worked so hard for an 18th. I mean, good Lord, tire troubles, all these issues. And he just kept fighting his way back up there, and then had one final issue and dropped him back to 18th. But what a year. I mean, I had him number 1 in my season-ending driver rankings because there wasn't a clear number 1, So if you just look at the full body of work, including his pole qualifying and his wins, and just only had a few really bad weeks, and he had a really good year. And I'm telling you, he's going to be he's going to be on a lot of people's lists for who's going to be the 3 or 4 favorites going in the next year. He's going to be among them. no doubt. He should be.
You know what he did on Sunday that Kyle Larson did not do, correct?
No.
Chase
Let
Briscoe
a
let a
lap.
lap or two. Yeah, let a couple of laps.
Yeah.
Let's go to show and tell, Ken. What do you got for us this week?
That's a season ender, and it's not a great one, but it's one. And,
Is this a third place finish? You're ending with a third place finish.
yeah, well, occasionally I like to bring out freebies, things that we get
Yeah,
from
sure.
the different associates. This came earlier this year. The folks at Fox who are trying to, curry favor with the media, so it's almost like they knew me, So they sent a 12-pack cooler.
Oh yeah.
So and it's empty. Number one, and number two, yeah, I guess it would hold 12, but it might not hold a lot of ice. So I might have to go with the 9-pack of Miller Lite 16 ounces, and there would be some room for some ice in here. If I was to do something like that, it's probably what I do.
Did it arrive full or did it arrive empty?
I'm sorry?
Did it arrive full or did it arrive empty?
No, empty. Can't have them all. Can't have it all. But no, it's an Igloo, which is the old school right there. That's old school cooler talk right there. That and the Coleman's. But now everybody's on that Yeti bandwagon and the Yeti knockoffs. But Igloo still makes coolers, and I think Westinghouse still makes refrigerators, from what I hear.
All right. Last question for you, and this is one that has been a topic of debate all season long. Was this weekend an appropriate send-off for a playoff format that people seem to hate? I mean, you had, Kyle Larson winning the championship without leading a lap in the championship race and finishing third. You had Jesse Love winning the Xfinity championship. He won the race. But Connor Zilic dominated that circuit for the entire series. And then Corey Heim, it seemed like after he won the Truck Series race on Friday, everyone kind of breathed a sigh of relief, because there was an overtime restart. He came from like 7th to 1st, but it was looking unlikely, and he had dominated the whole season. So it was looking like, the guy who had the most impressive season wasn't going to win the championship. Was this kind of weekend kind of the epitome of this format that people seem to just dislike?
I mean, you could have had a guy who dominated the whole season not win the championship, and you could have had a driver that didn't win a race all year win the championship. I believe in the trucks, might have been Xfinity, but one of those two now. I'd have to go back and look. But you had zero-win driver.
Love's one and only win coming into the Xfinity race was at Daytona, the first one.
Yeah, he won the first race and the last race, but I mean that's what you can get. And let me tell you something: if they switch it and they go to say, and the most popular line of thinking is that they'll do maybe a 3-race shootout at the end of the year. It'll be you'll take the top 4, 5, or 6, whatever they choose, point getters at that stage of the playoffs, and have a 3-race cumulative points gathering chase for the championship over a 3-race, instead of just leaving it to the whims of one single race. Well, let me tell you something. You could get to the final race, and the guy who wins it might finish 15th or 20th if he's built up enough of a cushion through the first 2. So things like that can still happen. But I think it'll be considered more fair if you do it over a 3-race period.
Was this more of a debate, or less of a debate in 2022 before we had a driver who didn't win the final race, as the champion? Were the public outcries this loud?
No, I mean, no. I think I think maybe just every several years, everybody wants something different. I don't know. Maybe that's it. It's a 7-year itch in year 12 of this system. I mean, they've changed that system. They change it so often, and since from 2004 to 2014, there were there were several changes, and we basically kind of had it the same since 2014. So maybe everybody's just clamoring for a change of some sort. I don't think they're going to go back to a season-long points format. I don't think they'll do that, because those of us who remember these things, remember the days when it was all but clinched with a few weeks to go. Guy had built up such a lead. As long as his hauler shows up with his car next week in Rockingham, he's going to be the champion. So I don't think they're going to go back to that, even though that might, from a purity standpoint, that's the fairest way to determine a champion. But as long as you had a reasonable points system on how you dole out points on a weekly basis, that's been a bone of contention sometimes over the years. But I think they pretty much got that right now, and I think the bonus points are kind of a good thing. But but I think they're going to go to a 2-race or 3-race shootout at the end of the year and the playoff final round. But how they get there is going to be another thing to determine. Is it still going to be a 10-race playoffs, or will they go to 12? Still be 16 drivers? And will they cut it down to 4 at the end? Will they cut it down to 3? Those are the details that'll be hashed out, and I will not be invited to the hashing as usual.
But we will see.
That will do. We'll definitely see.
I'll do one costume change since you've just done a couple. I'll put the glasses on for the last for the closing here. Any words to say for the people before next season? Any wise words?
Well, I mean, obviously, Feliz Navidad. Actually, we only got to wait till January because the Rolex is in January, and that's always a lot of fun. One of our favorite weeks of the year. So no, shop early, shop often, and go to a store. Quit ordering online. That's my only advice. Get out there among the people. Don't just get off the clicker.
Couldn't have said it any better, Ken.
Yep.
This has been Daytona Motor Mouths. That's Ken Willis. I'm Chris Vanell. Kyle Larson, your 2025 Cup Series champion. It's been a fun NASCAR season, and we may laugh about that all off season, maybe.